Hello and welcome to another year of the Saturday Morning Huddle here on News Talk 1480 WHBC's StreamYard, YouTube, Facebook page, wherever we're at. We're all over the place, and that's the way it should be. Year number 82 of high school football coverage and taking it to the next level as I join John Bozeka for another year of this, John. And here we are back for that 82nd year and week one already in the books.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. It didn't take long for week one to get through, and we had a lot of interesting matchups. We had a lot of really good teams in action this weekend that had, not just good Stark County games, but we had some great statewide games like Massillon playing Glenville, McKinley getting the chance to play against Warren. Green and Indian Valley was a statewide game. So there was a lot of interesting scores from last night and interesting action and things that quite frankly kind of surprised me, in terms of some of the blowouts and some of the scores that we had in week one. But, you learn, coaches always say week one to week two is the biggest improvement. So it'll be interesting to see how they improve going into next week.
And before we go any further, we want to thank our sponsors that are joining us this year. Some that have been with us from the get-go, others that are on board for the first time this year. So shout out to Marianne Donuts, back with the Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week. Pella Windows, welcome, and thank you for jumping on board the Saturday Morning Huddle. Community One Credit Union Player of the Week. We'll announce that a little bit later in the show. They're back for another year. Old Carolina Barbecue, Brian Bailey and his staff. Here's what I love about Old Carolina Barbecue. We do a stream game, a radio game, and a YouTube game. And Old Carolina Barbecue is allowing us to pick a player of the game for each one of those games. And that kid will get a gift certificate to go eat at my favorite barbecue place, Old Carolina Barbecue. So tip of the cap to Brian Bailey and his staff. And Akron Auto Auction, 53rd year, family owned and operated. Chad Bailey and his staff do a fabulous job. They're back for another year as well. So thank you to our sponsors as we get ready to dive into week one of this high school football season in 2026.
Yeah, we couldn't do it without them. Obviously, Pella Windows and Doors new this year. They are also our starting lineup sponsor on all three games, and Northeast Ohio homeowners rated Pella Windows and Doors #1 for their highest quality. And we thank Matt and the folks there for being part of that. And again, they are a new sponsor this year that we are excited to have on. And Community One Credit Union, them and Marianne Donuts, I reached out to them in like February and said, hey, would you still like to sponsor the Huddle? And they said, yeah, of course we would. So, it's one of those things that we've built something here that we love to do each week after these games. And we're lucky to have people that want to support it.
Yeah, so let's get into it, John. We're running the scores on the bottom of the page. You can see what your team did last night. You want to go back to Thursday night? Because that's when this all started. Two games that we covered on WHBC radio and streaming at WHBCsports.com. And let's go to your game since you were there. You made the road trip to the Hilltoppers venue to see Chardon host Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson went on the road, and I'll play some of the highlights here for us as we're on. These are from the Huddle account of Jackson, and we thank them for that. But Carter Mulliman, as you'll see here, had a great game, made this great pass early in the game to Lucas Yoder, who had one of two touchdown receptions that night. And the impressive thing about the night for Carter Mulliman is he threw for 3 passing touchdowns and over 250 yards. Then there's this guy. Look at Reese Myers get to the quarterback, Andrew Cole for Chardon. He had a great season last year as a junior, and the expectations are high. Other great thing about Jackson, 100 yards from this tailback, Chase Maurer. He was injured last year, had a broken collarbone, and he had that carry. And then once the camera catches up to it, he tiptoes the sideline here for a 26-yard gain, part of an 100-yard night and a touchdown. And they also have a newcomer offensively. Quinn Snyder, as you can see there over the middle, the tight end transferring in from Lake from last season. And then with the game pretty much over, Jay Rohr said, let's go for the bomb late in the game to put the thing away. And he hits Lucas Yoder over the middle of the field again, second time. Kenny, we were saying, George and I were during that game that, all the weapons Jackson has.
Yeah.
Offensively, Carter Mulliman, a 6'6" quarterback. By the way, I want to go on record right now. Carter Mulliman's dad wants it to be known that Carter is 6'5" and not 6'6". He said, I don't want my kid to become a tight end. So
A 1 inch isn't going to make a difference from quarterback to tight. Although, yeah, you haven't heard of many 6'6" quarterback. Brock Osweiler, maybe, I think, and I forget whoever else. So, all right, we'll go with 6'5". I take that back.
So he's 6'5". He is a 6'5" quarterback. Put it on the record right now, even though the roster says 6'6". So Jay Rohr, if you're listening, change that by an inch. Just do it for the Mulliman family. I thought it was really fascinating, though, because Jay Rohr said after the game, and he's going to join us later this morning, he made the comment that he said a lot of people are going to be talking about Carter Mulliman before the season is done. He's the type of kid, Kenny, that we always have great quarterbacks in the county, but when you have a 6'6" kid that can throw the ball across the field and make any throw on the field, he can take a team really, really far. And with Micah Regenball on the outside, Chase Maurer back and healthy, the addition of Quinn Snyder, and then a defense that has great linebackers and Reese Myers one game in. I know it's early in the season, but he's already made a case for why he should be Federal League all-team by the end of the year and probably all-county by the end of the year because he was just a man amongst boys out there. I looked at Jay after the game and I said, hey, how is that kid 18? And he laughed and he was like, yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? So
yeah. And what about Jack Gallucci, too? He had double-digit tackles in the game for Jackson the other night as well, and Joey Biviano with 2 field goals. So they hit it on all 3 levels: offense, defense, and special teams.
And let's talk about Joey Biviano too. That kid's just talk about listing a kid maybe a little bit I guess being a little faithful towards his height. It says he's 6 foot. He looks more like 5'8", but man, does he have a leg, Kenny. A sophomore, a kick from 39 yards and 31 yards. The 39-yarder would have been good from 50. The 31-yarder would have been good from 55. So I don't know how they do it. When we were talking with Scott Garcia, who's our new color guy on the stream last night, he said, I don't know how they do it. Jackson always gets kickers, and they've done it again this year. And he is as a sophomore, he's as good as I've seen at a young age like that.
Yeah, and what impressed me was Jackson fell behind, 50 seconds into the game, 7-0, right? The game was tied 13-13 in the third quarter, and they took over from that point forward as they put up 21 points to close out Chardon, beating them 2 years in a row. So a good win. And whenever you face that wing T, it's tough. So now you got that out of the way. You may see a little of it when you play Perry, although they're throwing the football more with Spencer Leno, who will join us later in the show as well. So that's a good first week win on the road for Jay Rohr and the Polar Bears. He will join us looking at our sheet. Jay Rohr scheduled to join us at 10:25 today. Real quick, a rundown, and then we'll get to our first guest, John. We're going to have Spencer Leno from Perry at about 10:55. John DeMarco, the game I did yesterday on YouTube with Frank Salona and Coach Tom McDaniels and Bob Jeffries. John DeMarco of Northwest, they were a winner yesterday, 16-zip. He'll join us at 11:10, scheduled to join us. And Jake Atkins, first game at Louisville, they get a win over New Philly. Jake going to join us at about 11:20.
Yeah, we talked to Coach DeMarco last night, and he said, can I do this thing on a phone? He said, can I do it on a phone? He said, because I'll probably be at the JV game. And I said, Coach, yeah, you can do it wherever you're at, as long as you have a phone that works and has a camera. And he doesn't have a flip phone anymore, so
which is nice. It's good that he's upgraded just a little bit so he can join us wherever. All right, let's get to our first guest, John. Bring them in because they were victorious on Thursday night as well. Fairless flying high. The Falcons get a win at 44-6 on the road at Sandy Valley. And joining us is the outstanding head coach of the Falcons. That is AJ Sarbaugh. Coach, congratulations on the week 1 win. Welcome to the Huddle again.
Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate it, and we're happy to be here.
Who do you have with you today, Coach?
Got our 3-year starting quarterback, 2-time captain, Mikey Ritterbeck.
Mikey, thanks for getting up with us on the Saturday morning huddle. Congratulations on the week 1 win. Take me through it. What was the key for you running that offense and leading Fairless to that big win over the Valley?
I said on my other interviews, it's the special teams and defense. They got me the great field positioning. It really helped out a lot. And then everyone else, we're an old group, so we're pretty experienced. We're calm, cool, and collected.
Coach, is this kid right here, Mikey Ritterbeck? I know you've had him as a starter since a sophomore, but is he an extension of you on the field at this point?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I mean, he's got 20 plus games under his belt as a quarterback. He's been the starting shortstop since he was a freshman. He started games at the back end as a freshman for us. So Mikey's seen a lot of different situations, and he's just a coach's dream, how hard he works, how he leads, his coachability, and he does a lot of things on the field for us.
Coach, how nice is it having a returning quarterback? You love to call plays. And when you have a
Yeah.
new quarterback, oh, I might have to hold back a little. I can't go to my
Mhm.
entire script of plays, but you've got a kid that's been there
Yeah.
a while, and he knows your offense almost as well as you do.
Yeah, I think it's funny because we were talking. We've got all these seniors, and John was there 2 years ago when we beat Sandy Valley 21-14 at the goal line, and Mikey was getting his first start as a sophomore. John Hill was starting as a sophomore. Entrell Hunter, Peter Snavely, Dylan Stevens, like the list goes on and on. And that night, it was pretty much okay. Let's run the football with Peter Killey, and we'll throw when we have to, and maybe throw on first down. And the other night, Mikey's now a senior, and a perfect example. We're down on the goal line, and we give Mikey the ability to check a play. He checks it, and then Sandy Valley moves their front. So then he checks it again, and we score. And I don't know how many high school quarterbacks can check the play twice to get you in the right situation. And that just shows you the growth and the time that this guy has put in. That as a sophomore, I don't think he could have done that. Check one play, let alone senior year, checks it and then checks it again.
Well, and Mikey, I remember kind of the legend of you growing as a sophomore with that drive that you had against Tuslaw, where you led them down the field and you guys won right at the end of the game. Take us through your growth process and what's allowed you to become the quarterback that you are as a senior.
Oh, I got to give all the credit to Coach Sarbs. I mean, he took me under his wing both seasons. Every week in the off season, we would watch a new game on film. So I was just always had football in the mind, just growing. And then also the teammates. I mean, I was throwing with them in the off season, just growing, being comfortable, lifting.
I'm looking at some stats here. 6 receptions, 95 yards, 3 touchdowns for Bronson Brown. Take me through the connections there, Mikey. And you guys obviously were on the same page big time.
Yes, no, he's matured a lot. He's a dude now. You could tell in the weight room, he has that mindset. He wants to win. He wants to do good. Yeah.
Coach, how about that throw? I count 4 defenders around him. Not that big of a window to put that one in on that last play. That's a heck of a throw, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a couple of Mikey's throws were through a keyhole. I mean, and that's where Mikey's bust his button in the weight room. He's a multi-sport athlete, never missed 6 a.m. lifting, end up being a part of 1,000-pound club. And some of the throws he made Thursday, you could see his strength. And, you know, as a sophomore, we didn't run Mikey. There's another great throw by him to Bronson. But as a sophomore, we didn't run Mikey. And that makes it hard when you don't have a quarterback that can run, because it's just something else that people have to defend. And now Mikey's pretty thick. He's pretty strong. And he carried the ball, I don't know, 8-9 times on Thursday. And it gives us another weapon to our offense. This was another great throw to Bronson.
Wow.
But I mean, Mikey, he's just changed his body. He's so smart. And there's a lot of things Mikey had a punt return for 16 yards, broke a couple tackles on Thursday. So he's also our holder. He does anything we ask him to do, because Mikey's just all about the team.
Yeah, Mikey, take us through all of those throws that you had, and then right there at the end, you guys obviously hand off and get probably the easiest touchdown you had all night. But a couple of those, I mean, the one is Kenny said you put it in a tight window. You put another one in a tight window. You put one over the defender's head right into the breadbasket for Bronson Brown. Tell us about those 3 throws.
Yeah, I think it all starts with the line. I mean, I had a clean pocket every single time. There was no one in my face, so that makes it way easier too. And then just having the trust in my receivers I know I can put it where I want, but they're gonna catch it. I know that.
Well, and last year it was Cam Carlin. Sorry, Kenny, but it was Cam Carlin. This year it's another number 1. Mikey, is it something about guys that wear number 1 for Fairless? Does it have to be that for you?
No, it doesn't have to be. I have trust in all my guys. I mean, Bronson's he was my primary read. I trust all my receivers.
Coach, what about defensively? I know you had a couple of picks. I think Pumnio had a pick and Hill had a pick, right? So defensively, creating turnovers, short fields for your quarterback. How big was that, and will it be moving forward as well?
Yeah, defensively, we played really well. CJ Pumnio, you guys probably all remember Brody and Brandon, but CJ's now making a name for himself, and he's another guy who's a junior, started 2 years ago in that game as a freshman. We were really young 2 years ago, and he had a pick. John Hill's now a senior. He had a pick. Entrell Hunter's a 3-year starter at DB and played outstanding. So our back end, those guys have all played a lot of football. And up front, we have Peter Snavely, 3-year starter. Bo Sheets, 2-year starter on defense. Dylan Stevens is a 4-year starter. So we have a lot of guys back on defense, but I really thought they flew to the ball. Jack Kirby forced the fumble with a great hit early. We had a fumble on the kickoff that we recovered. So I just really thought those guys ran to the football. They played physical, played fast, and it was what you want to see out of week one.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw something else in here. My radio partner, JT, from the Kenny and JT show, shameless plug, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. on 1480 WHBC. We'll get that in there. But he was telling me about Jack Kirby. Said he's got good DNA. It's the Grimsley family.
Yes, he does.
You being Mr. Stark County, right? AJ, for all these years playing and coaching in it, what's it like having part of the Grimsley family on your team?
We're not upset about it. I can tell you that. He's got big hands, and I think he's still growing, but Jack loves football, 2-way starter. He's a junior now, another kid that started for us as a freshman.
Right.
But he's busted his butt in the weight room, and he's bigger and he's stronger, and he does a great job. And if you come down to Fairless, Ohio, down in Navarre, Krause's, they've got a big picture of Grimsley's in the patio. So, yeah, we're definitely not upset. We've got some Grimsley, Canton McKinley blood. I know my grandma, old Canton McKinley season ticket holders, happy about that for sure.
That's awesome.
Got to go back some years for the Grimsley family. Ike Grimsley back in the 50s, a great quarterback. And, of course, John down through the years. It's a great family. Coach, we hear it all the time when you guys speak at the church event. We always hear coaches say, well, we started 7 sophomores last year, so we lost 7 games. 2 years ago, you guys started basically all sophomores, and you guys lost a lot of games. They're seniors now. How much of a difference has that made? And tell us about their growth process.
I think it's made a big difference. And, they're a year stronger, year older. There's not going to be a whole lot that people throw at them. And we were young last year, but between week 4 and 5, we lost 8 starters. And that there's a lot of reasons for that. But I think a lot of it was when you're young and you're not physically mature enough, your body can't take the toll. And we had 5 road games in a row from week 2 through 6. We didn't have a home game in September. So I think there were a lot of factors to that last year. And now, like I said, we're a year older. They're more in condition for their bodies to play 48 minutes to play both ways. And having 5 home games in a row is going to make a big difference. It's a less of a toll on your body. But, yeah, these guys have seen a lot of football. And sometimes you got to get your butt kicked, lick your wounds. And now, we're pretty veteran. And for the first time, Coach Murphy, our DC, has been with me since 18. And we are not starting a sophomore this year. We're not starting a freshman. And I don't know if that's happened in my 9 years as head coach where we didn't start a freshman or a sophomore at a school our size. So it's been a long time. We were trying to figure that out the other day. So it's a good thing when you've got a good senior and junior class leading the locker room and showing these guys how to do things.
Well, and I think it's interesting because you said that Mikey has gotten thicker. Mike, how much time have you spent in the weight room in the last couple of years?
A lot, definitely a lot. I mean, it's easy to show up whenever everyone shows up with a great attitude. And I mean, that's a priority for us. You got to show up ready to go, ready to win, locked in. I love 6 a.m.s. They're one of my favorite parts of football.
John, I'm going to tell you, this is the type of kid Mikey Ritterbeck is. He wants to go play college baseball, and he's going to end up somewhere because he's really good. He's been in the county, the top the past 2 years. He had a baseball tournament in Virginia. All right. They leave Virginia like 8 o'clock. He texts me, our ETA is 1 a.m. I'll be at football tomorrow.
Wow.
And he was there.
Wow.
Like, never misses a day, drives our freshmen around. Like, that's the type of kid I'm talking about right here that plays multiple sports and doesn't miss anything. he's just a joy to coach.
AJ, what's next on the schedule? I don't have it in front of me. So who's the opponent in week number 2?
We have Waynedale at home on Friday.
All right. And what can you give us an early scouting report on what you'll face?
They always have big linemen. They've got a good quarterback coming back. They do have a new head coach, so that'll be a challenge for us. Week 1 and 2 this year, we're facing new head coaches, so that's always different because, when you're used to playing Coach Gamble at Sandy Valley for 8-9 years in a row, you kind of know their trick plays, tendencies, things. But these first 2 weeks this year is a little bit of an unknown. But I also think it makes it fun for the kids too. So we're excited for the challenge.
And Mikey, now you're the veteran, man. Yeah, you're the leader of this team. How do you process what you did in game 1? It helps make you a better player, but you have to forget it because now you got to move on to week 2.
Yeah, so we watched film, so we know what we need to improve on. We'll get our grade sheets. We'll have what we need to focus on for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll just build and grow.
Coach, three passing touchdowns. Do you know what his grade sheet is?
Senior graded him. I don't do the quarterbacks. Senior was his grade sheet. He hasn't finished it yet.
I'm gonna say
senior's dad. They call dad senior and me junior. It's hard when you got 3 star balls coaching.
The Sarbs boys. We got the Bozeka boys calling games and the Sarbs boys.
John saw the other Sarbs boy last night coaching for Northwest, so they're everywhere.
Right. Yeah, hey, big win last night. We're going to have Coach DeMarco on a little bit later on.
Happy for those guys.
Wasn't the prettiest game, but he'll take it in week 1. So good that a lot of teams in Stark County got week 1 wins, and Fairless was one of those teams. Guys, congratulations. Continued success. Good luck the rest of the way. And we'll see you again, I'm sure, on the Huddle.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having us on, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Kenny, I think the better joke for that could be, what school isn't there a Sarbaugh at?
Maybe, right?
Like it seems like it seems like every school has grabbed one. When Senior and Mom had all those kids, they were all like, oh, I guess each one of these kids is going to become a coach somewhere. So
right.
It's really cool though. I'm so happy for AJ. They took their lumps 2 years in a row. I remember texting you a couple years back and saying, after watching them against Sandy, that I felt they were going to be really good in 2 years because they had all these, super sophomores, if you will, to look back to the 68 Ohio State team. They had some super sophomores on their team, and now they're seniors: Mikey Ritterbeck, Peter Snavely, John Hill, Antrell Hunter. The list goes on. And, and when you've got seniors that are experienced and that have played a lot of key games, it makes you better. You lose games with sophomores, you win games with seniors.
No doubt about it. And again, the Thursday night scores: Fairless 44-6 over Sandy Valley. Jackson beats Chardon 34-13. Let's run down the scores, John, of all the games here real quick. McKinley gets a shutout win last night. We're going to have Ethan Jenkins on, who worked the sideline for us on WHBC Radio, to tell us all about the 33-0 win over Harding by McKinley. Massillon in that huge matchup at home against Glenville last year. Glenville comes back, wins in OT. Massillon, they took control of this game in the second half. They win 31-18. Xavier Owens, huge game, 26 carries, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rasmus Haynes, the quarterback, starting quarterback, threw a couple of touchdowns, had almost 200 yards passing. And how about the night Deontay Malone had 5 catches, $149, and a touchdown. And Brayton Feaster didn't run it a lot, but made his impact on defense. So Feaster to Oregon, Owens to Michigan State, and Malone to Ohio State. Not 3 bad players to have.
Yeah, plus Braylon Gamble going to Boston College, Giorgio Jackson committed to Miami. That Deontay Malone, he's gonna look good in scarlet and gray, right, Ken?
Love it. Absolutely. We move along. Perry gets a win over Central in the Battle of 13th Street, 42-7. And let's run the scores at the bottom of the page here so you can keep up with us. A big night from Jonathan Lemon. We'll talk more about him later as you have the call of that one. Hoover beats Bookville 35-8. Nolan Bonner, new quarterback for Hoover, 3 touchdown runs and rushed for about 60 yards on the ground there. Lake a winner over North Ridgeville, 20-14, tied to Georgia. Nice night. $127 on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Wyatt Jones, the quarterback, threw for a touchdown in that game. Dover beat Glen Oak, so Matt Dennison's debut comes up short. Dover 36, Glen Oak 21. Indian Valley all over Green, 42-13. How about this? Louisville gets a win in the first game for Jake Atkins. The Leps beat New Philly 20-10, and Jake will join us coming up as I look at my sheet later in the 11 o'clock hour at 11:20. Northwest 16-0 over Alliance. We'll break that one down here in a little bit as I was on the sidelines for that one. John DeMarco and the Indians get the dub. United all over Minerva as Zach Slate's squad goes down 42-7 in week 1. Marlington, it is the Dukes. It is the Dukes. The Dukes a winner over Warrensville Heights, 31-6. Cam Evanich, 10 carries, 70 yards in that win. Tyler Klein and Jacob Rose with a touchdown run each for those guys. And Cole Bates, nice game defensively. 2 fumble recoveries and a defensive touchdown as Joe Cardinal and the Dukes get the win, 31-6 over Warrensville Heights. And Bedry Bardowell in his first game at Canton South, they're a loser to Garraway. 20-6 was the final there. Brock Dial and Tuslaw fall to the Smitties of Smithville, 21-14. Spider Miller and East Canton takes one on the chin. They lose to Chippewa, who snaps a 15-game losing streak from what I read online. 23-6 Chippewa over East Canton. And Strasburg beats St. Thomas 43-14. Isaiah Robinson, his first game as the head coach there for the Knights. But baby steps, 14 points in week 1 for St. Thomas. Like seeing that. And again, the Thursday night games, Fairless 44-6 over Sandy Valley. Jackson beats Chardon 34-13. So you're all caught up on what went down in week number 1 as we wait for Jay Rohr to join us here as we want to talk to the Jackson head coach and get his input on that big week 1 win for them. And while we are awaiting on him, again, shout out to Old Carolina Barbecue, Brian Bailey and his staff. WHBC's Old Carolina Barbecue player of the game in all 3 of our games, radio, YouTube, stream. Each player will get a gift card to go eat there. The official barbecue of football is Old Carolina Barbecue. 8 locations, 7 in Ohio, 3 in Stark County. One of my favorite places to chow down at. So thank you, Brian, for being back on board with us.
Yeah, I know Jay Rohr. I see him in the studio right now. I see him backstage, but I don't see him. I don't see his face in there. So I don't know if he hasn't turned his camera on or whatnot yet, or if he's having issues with that. But I suppose we can bring him in and talk to
text him to let him know we can't see him. We need to see the coach, man. They're figuring it out. Yeah, take him out while they figure that out. And while he takes care of that, let me give him some more love to another sponsor, Akron Auto Auction, a driving force in the industry. Ohio's premier used car auction, I should say, John. 53rd year for them, family owned and operated. Chad Bailey and his staff. Check them out at akronautauction.com, and you'll hear Chad periodically throughout the Kenny and JT show from week to week. So thank you to Chad and his staff for being back on board with us. A legacy of trust and excellence, Akron Auto Auction. And John, you were at the game as we wait for Coach Rohr here, 34-13. As I mentioned earlier, they were down 7-0 early, and it was tied 13-13. I'll get your thoughts on this, and then we can talk to Coach Rohr here. What changed there when it was tied 13-13?
Yeah, I just think that they woke up at that point. You know, I think they were going through some of those week 1 jitters, and that, you know, they were playing against a good team. Like Coach Rohr said, and I know he'll tell us, give Coach Landis and Chardon a lot of credit. Like, that's not a bad football team. They're D3, and Jackson was punching down in a sense, but Chardon's a proud football program. They have 3 state championships. They knew what they were in for against Jackson, and I really give more credit to them than it was Jackson's issues. I think they kept fighting all night, and I think Jackson did everything that they needed to. After Chardon took that 7-0 lead, Jackson outscored them 34-6. So, you know, Jackson dominated the game. After that, the score doesn't show it. The score in the third quarter and early fourth doesn't show it. But there was a clear talent advantage in the case of Jackson. And speaking of Jackson,
There they are.
guess what? He got his camera working because it looked like he had the tech people in, and Coach Jay Rohr joining us. And Coach, congratulations on the Thursday night win, and tell us who you have with us this morning.
Yeah, guys. First of all, appreciate you guys having us. I apologize. It was a little swipe of the screen up top for you guys to be able to see us. So there really was no anything tech serious. To my left here, as you guys would be looking at, maybe to your right, is quarterback Carter Mulliman, and then to my right, with us today is our running back Chase Mauer. So two guys that certainly played an impact on Thursday night's victory over Chardon.
Yeah. And Coach, I'm going to jump
Kenny.
in, John, because you were there. I want to know what was it like on opening night to have a healthy quarterback and a healthy running back to start the season and open it up at Chardon with these guys.
And obviously, it's a blessing. Again, the last couple of years, that's certainly been an issue for us. But coming in, obviously, again, like you alluded to, just a healthy quarterback, healthy running back, and healthy team going into week one. First time ever playing on a Thursday night, 90 minutes away. So already facing some adversity with that. But it was a blessing having the team, healthy overall.
Carter, for you, this week one matchup against Chardon, you obviously had, such a great game passing for 3 touchdowns. What allowed you to have that comfort in week one?
It gives me time. Obviously, they always block great. And then my skill positions, I'm very blessed. I got every position is a dude. They're all athletic. Chase is athletic. So, and our coach Ken, our offensive coordinator, he had a great game plan coming in. And then, I just got to trust in what I can do and just go ball out.
And also, Carter, your dad wants us to list you at 6'5" instead of 6'6". Can you provide some insight into that as why he doesn't want you to be 6'6"?
He says there's a lot more 6'5" quarterbacks than 6'6", so he likes the 6'5". He said 6'6" is a little too big, but that's all.
All right, and for Chase, let's get Chase in here as well. How much were you chomping at the bit, man, to get back and play some football and do what you do?
I was excited since I missed basically the whole year last year, so it was good to just be out there and play.
Any first game jitters or no? After that first hit, everything was good.
Yeah, I had a lot of jitters going into it. Yeah, I was nervous.
Coach,
Jay,
for you, were you concerned about him at all in week number 1 or no?
Again, I know Chase, saying the first game jitters. I think I got Carter, next to us, and then Carter just alluded to the team itself. Guys, I mean, the reality is this: we've had a tremendous off season. We had a great summer. We've been preaching, iron sharpens iron. We've been going a lot of best on best. So, watching what Chase and Carter both, in particular Chase, because that's what you're asking in regards to, him being healthy and so forth. We've had the privilege and the honor to watch him on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. So we certainly know what he's capable of, even what he started with last year, what he did in game 1, and then even what he started in week 2 last year. So yeah, we knew he was going to have some jitters, but every time, even contemplating, keep him out of, the Hoban scrimmage to make sure he's healthy for game 1, Chase was more adamant to say, I want to play. So I couldn't be more proud of him, the adversity that he faced all last year and come back healthy. What these two guys have done, for their bodies and, getting bigger, getting faster, getting stronger. It's a testament to them. It's a testament to their work ethic. And again, the leadership that they bring to the team and what we've had done all off season. I couldn't be more proud of those guys.
Coach, I want to play these highlights that your assistant, Coach Benson, got us, and I want you to break some of these down for us. Take us through these.
Well, obviously this first one, again, Carter stated it. our offensive line, we bring back really one guy. They did a great job, allowing Carter to sit in the pocket. And then we work on this, to be honest. When the play breaks down and we somewhat go into a scramble drill, Carter was able to find Yoder in the end zone, or to get it in the end zone. Reese Myers, another guy that we have high expectations for on the defense, one of the top sacks, leaders in the county last year, comes back. And obviously you see him make a play for a sack. And then this is what I just was talking about. We've seen that all along, all offseason with Chase, just his vision, his ability to make cuts and make plays. Again, that's not just the play call. That's players making plays, and that's what these guys did. And then we finish up, again, right here with Carter hitting our tight end, Quinn Snyder in the back of the end zone there for a nice touchdown. And there's
and that's not a bad throw either, huh, Coach?
No, and that's, again, on the back foot a little bit. Lucas Yoder, again, down the seam. We knew that they were going to send pressure there towards the end of the game to load the box. And obviously Carter made a great throw to Lucas Yoder down the middle of the field. So all those were great highlights, great plays, great play calls. But again, at the end of the day, players have to make plays. And that's what, again, the two guys sitting next to me did. And the guys that you saw catch the ball and make the plays on the screen as well.
Yeah, I want to highlight two things here. I want to go, Coach, first for you. Just the throws that Carter made the other night, the composure he played with. What's allowed him to become that player as a quarterback, and also the idea that you guys are throwing late in the game like that. I thought you were just going to give it to Chase and just pound the rock, but you decided to throw it 40 yards down the field. Why do you have the confidence in him to do that?
Well, first and foremost, I can't overemphasize the offseason that Carter had. Obviously, a phenomenal coach in Coach Bardowell that, I have the utmost respect for as our former OC. A well-deserved, to go to Canton South and become the head coach there. But then for Carter to take this offseason to sit with Coach Kent nonstop about our reads, what he's looking at, the plays, the offense. Carter just has a cool and collective comfort with what we're doing offensively. He knows where the receivers are going to be. And like I said, even when plays break down, we've worked on those situations. So again, Carter has all the attributes, and that's because of his work ethic. The film room, again, sitting with Coach Kent, and obviously, the bond that he has with the guys out there. He's been playing with these guys for a long time, so it's allowed him to do this. The second thing is, the play call at the end. I know there's only 3 minutes to go in the game, and we're up 2 scores. But the one thing I didn't want is us pounding Chase at that point in the situation. They were loading the box and they were blitzing. And the last thing I want is for them to tee off on number 28. That's not something what I want. So again, Coach Kent asked, is this a situation where we can throw the ball with them playing man and loading the box? And I said, absolutely. So the utmost confidence is always going to be with Carter, with Chase, and really with our entire coaching staff, that we're going to put ourselves in the best position to make plays. And that's what happened.
Carter, how important was the experience you got last year when you got the starter come in off the bench in that, and how much has that helped you be more comfortable already this year in just week number 1?
Well, seeing varsity defense, it's a lot better not knowing it's the first time you're seeing them in week 1. So last year, just taking what I learned with how fast the game is and how it should be played, it just helps a lot. Help me settle in, and kind of settles the nerves a little bit, because it's like I know what to expect.
Carter, for you, number 17, you reminded us, being as tall as you are, you reminded us of the gazelle that plays for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Is that an inspiration for you, Carter?
Yeah, that's my favorite QB in the league, because I grew up a Bills fan, and when he came in the league, I was inspired by him. So I just kind of, he can do it all. He can throw, he can run, read defenses. So I just kind of like to kind of model my game after him in a way.
All right, I got to ask this. Mom works for the Browns, right? The Browns just scrimmaged the Bills, and they're playing the Bills later today. Well, how's that go over at the dinner table when you're talking about being a Bills fan and a Josh Allen fan?
Well, it's always going to be Browns first, just because that's the family. But I mean, she knows I grew up with the Bills, so it's like they're always going to be deep down in my heart. But it's always Browns first, then the Bills.
Good
Coach,
answer,
That's a phenomenal answer he just gave you.
right?
He played it right.
Coach, I would be remiss not to ask about this kid. And I looked at you the other night and you gave me a wry smile after I said this, but Reese Myers is only 18, but he plays like he's 37. Tell me about Reese and what makes his motor go.
I don't have a rhyme or a reason or a secret that I've been made aware of for Reese. But I will say this: ever since he's been a part of this program, he's only had one motor, and I think he goes full go all times, and that's just not on the field either. And again, these guys next to me would attest to it. I think his teammates would attest to it. What that guy has done, what he does in the weight room, what he does from a leadership standpoint, just based on his effort and his play. He's not the most vocal guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he only knows one gear, and I think that's a blessing to him. He plays hard. He wants to be the best version of himself and the best for this team. He's a very unselfish player. So again, another guy that has been committed. He's been a leader. He's been taking multiple kids and asking multiple kids to meet him in the weight room, to do extra workouts, just anything and everything. Reese is he's phenomenal. And again, I'm going to tell you this. I'm happy he's on our side. That's for sure.
Hey, guys, and Coach, congratulations on the week 1 win. Who's week 2 for you, Coach, real quick before we let you go? Who's coming up this week?
Yeah, we got a great Hudson team coming to Fife this Friday. They're an extremely well-coached team, and they got playmakers on both sides of the ball, and they got great size on both sides of the ball. So another tough opponent going into week 2, and we look forward to that challenge.
Yeah, Coach, who the heck put together that schedule? You guys go Chardon, Hudson, Warren, and Wadsworth. It's kind of a tough schedule. Who the heck put that together?
In order to be the best, you got to beat the best. So again, with the support of these guys next to me,
little Ric
behind
Flair
me,
quote this morning.
hey, amen. But in all seriousness, I know our schedule is tough. I think a lot of people, I've always looked at Jackson and they're not willing to play tough teams. And that's not who I am. And that's not who we are. It used to be about winning a playoff game. And I'm not going to sit here and say, we're state champs or we're going to be state champs. But at the end of the day, we have bigger goals and aspirations than just winning a single playoff game. We've got to go. We've got to play tougher competition. We got to continue to, again, work each day, each week, continue to be physical, tackle, create turnovers, all those things. But in order to be a great team, you got to play great competition. And that's what the guys, again, behind me in our locker room, our coaching staff, we're all on the same page. They believe what I preach, and we're going to continue to do that.
Amen.
Outstanding. Go get them next week, Coach. Thanks for joining us, guys. Best of luck to you as well. We'll see you in the huddle again, all right?
Appreciate you guys having us. Thank you.
Kenny, I love that that attitude. He said it. It's long since been a thing that the Jackson kid maybe isn't as tough as some of the others. The Jackson kid doesn't want to, and man, Jay, all you have to do is go online and look at the game that we have from 2001 with Jay Rohr playing at Hoover in the mud and in the crap that he was going in over at Old Memorial Stadium. And man, he was getting dirty in there for Coach Morrow, and he's brought that attitude, Ken, and he's taken it to those guys. And we said it the other night with all of that talent, with all of that skill and a great defense like what they have, the sky is truly the limit for them. If they stay healthy, which is always the key, I think they're going to give everyone in the Federal League their toughest shot. And I really do believe they have the pieces this year.
All right, before we get to Ethan Jenkins, who is handling sidelines on the radio, it's time for our Marianne Donuts play of the week. And not just any play of the week. It is the Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week. Marianne Donuts and the Saturday Morning Huddle, the perfect combination to get caught up on all things high school football in Stark County. Grab your favorite box of Marianne Donuts, a cup of coffee, a hot chocolate, sit back and enjoy WHBC Saturday Morning Huddle to see how your team did on Friday night. Marianne Donuts, high school football and WHBC classic Canton traditions. And let's take a look at our Marianne Donuts sweet play of the week for week number 1 of our 82nd season of high school football coverage. And it was a game I did last night. And this was on the YouTube channel, WHBC YouTube channel. You can go watch it right now on demand. And this was the first score of the game. It was a fumble recovery in the end zone by Connor Stevenson. And this was all the points that Northwest needed last night as they won that game 16-0 over Alliance. And I was on the sidelines right where this happened, John. And as soon as that ball was tipped, you heard every coach, every player yelling ball, ball, ball for Northwest because they realized it was a backwards pass. And kudos to Connor Stevenson for realizing that, chasing it down, gave a little Oakland Raider kick to the end zone and then recovered it for the touchdown.
Yeah, and I love the fact, what great technique. Gets off the line there and then gets his big paw up there, smacks the ball backwards, which is such a smart play. And I thought it was really funny. I was watching the game last night, prepping for the show, and I heard Coach DeMarco talking about it with you. And I even heard Coach McDaniels saying, well, I don't know, that might have not been a backwards pass. He was debating it, but of course the coaches decided. And how about the wherewithal too, right at the end? Connor Stevenson, see ball, get ball, obviously. And He sees the ball sitting there on the ground, and just that extra effort, Kenny, to grab it at the end. It shows the heart and compassion that guy has to want to be on the field and want to make great plays like this.
Yeah, without question. So it was the turning point in that game, and they were able to pitch the shutout the rest of the way. And we'll talk more about John DeMarco's Indians a little bit later on as they get the 16-0 win over Alliance, and featured as the Marianne Donuts sweet play of the week. And again, you can watch that game right now on the WHBC YouTube channel. Had fun doing my first game with Frank Salona and the legendary coach Tom McDaniels and Bob Jeffries. All right, let's bring in our sideline reporter, WHBC Radio. He is a busy man. He had 2 games like you, John Bozeka. Glad to have him back. He was with us. He went away, and we pull him back in. And happy.
Just when I thought I was out.
Yeah. Good to see you, Ethan. Thanks for getting up with us on the huddle here this morning. And let's go back to your first game on Thursday night. Give us your thoughts on covering that blowout win by Fairless over Sandy Valley.
Yeah, obviously a great game for Fairless. They had a lot of trouble with penalties in the first half, but really their defense was excellent, able to get them the ball in the right spots. And then Bronson Brown, what a game for him it was. 3 touchdowns, and then Mikey Ritterbeck was doing his thing as well. And you see this throw over the middle, double coverage, able to still haul it in. And that's what he did pretty much all game. They moved him around, whether it was throws over the middle, one later on in the game down the seam. But it was just a great game for Fairless. And you see one of the only good plays by Sandy Valley kind of speaks to Fairless's defense is they blow up the screen on the one side of the field. They have to run it all the way back to the other one. And you see Sandy Valley get a touchdown there. But really, Fairless's defense set the tone for the game. No matter, they didn't really let them across the 50-yard line most of the contest. So Fairless was just dominant overall.
And Ethan, I love that camera angle there that you had. That pass to Bronson Brown coming right into our living room. Just tell us about their connection that you saw on the field and the athleticism that you think Fairless has on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and I was talking to Coach Starball after the game. He's like, what a weapon he is. We can move him all around the field. And you see that one's a deep ball. I think that was from about 25 yards away for that touchdown. So really, I think his frame is what sets him apart. And even on plays where, other players were the ones gaining yards, they had him in single coverage on one side of the field and had to bring that safety over the top to try to cover him one-on-one over there and then get that second defender inside. So he really opens it up for everybody. And I think Brown is just an excellent player that's going to be really good for them all season long.
All right, we go from your Thursday night game to last night's game, and we really haven't talked about this. It was our radio game. Dan Belford, Denny Kincaid, Mark Miller, and Ethan had the McKinley 33-0 win over Harding at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. What did you take away from watching that performance?
Well, I think the depth of McKinley is really what stood out to me. It was kind of an ugly first half other than this opening drive. Kylan West, look at that hole, and then he just explodes through it. This is a touchdown 3 minutes into the game, and then there's no more offense really scoring plays wise until late in the first half. There's another slant throw over the middle, great throw by Crook. He did all he needed to do game manager wise the first half, and that's what the first half was. Don't make as many mistakes. And here's the play that I was getting to just seconds before halftime. And, you know, you could have a 7-0 game going in the locker room, but then big throw, takes the hit, able to find Hill in the back of the end zone. So then they go up 14-0. Here's the biggest swing of the game in the third quarter, 98-yard pick six by Robinson. This was after a crazy sequence, injury on the field. Harding comes back on with a play. McKinley's got to call a timeout. They get to this spot, and you can tell they knew what was coming on this play. If Robinson didn't pick it off, 2 other defenders would have picked it off. That was just an excellent play. And then they also had some injuries. Crook went down in the first half. West went down in the first half. Here's the depth I was talking about. Multiple rushing touchdowns from the rest of that RB room. I think just how deep this team was, they played a more dominant second half than first half.
It's a great run there at the end. And, of course, DeMarlo Rozier Jr. On the team this year, which is a huge upgrade for them as a backup tailback. What were the thoughts of Coach Parnell after the game, Ethan? I'm interested to hear what Coach had to say and interested to hear what his thoughts were on their 33-0 win.
Well, obviously, I mean, he was pretty pleased with the defense. If you allowed less than 60 total yards, you're obviously going to be pretty pleased there.
Wow.
I had to ask him about the special teams. That's kind of, you know, maybe the main concern of this team right now. Henry Snyder, the kicker, he had some trouble with the extra points throughout the game, but then also he made a great tackle in open space. There was a return by Harding, only the kicker to beat, and he was able to wrap him up completely. Wasn't even a shoestring tackle or anything, just a great tackle. So have to see if they can figure out those special teams. But overall, I think he's pleased with the defense, and he's going to have to hope that his main attack there on the offensive end can stay healthy, which is ultimately why they didn't play the second half.
All right, tell me a little bit more about Braylon Crook, because I knew nothing about him. I know he was, I think, the JV quarterback maybe last year, and so he steps in. He's the guy. McKinley has high hopes this year with the new quarterback. So your thoughts on what you saw from him?
Sure. And like I said, I think he was a good game manager, 10 for 19 in the first half yesterday, 164 yards, had the TD, did throw an interception in his own end, but ultimately he made the right plays when he had to and did what he had to. It was a conservative game for most of the first half. Both teams on 3rd and long just decided to run the ball and try to earn that better field position. So I think it's a nice start for him. He got into the game in the first half and then probably made his best throw of the game right at the end of the first half. That tough throw, had a defender right in his face, put it in the back of the end zone, and that was probably the best play of the game offensively for them. So he did it when it had to matter most, and I think that's going to pay dividends the rest of the way.
Yeah, Ethan, a lot of people came into the year and they were talking about Maslin, and rightfully so, because they've got a roster that might be the best they've ever had. But for McKinley, what do you think the expectation should be for Bulldog fans? How good do you think this team can be?
I think really the sky is the limit to be right up there with Maslin. I think health is going to be a big factor in it. And ultimately, they're going to have to rely on the defense. The defense was flying around yesterday. I mean, I already said under 60 total yards. Harding was 1 out of 11 on 3rd down. If they can get off the field like that the rest of the season, they're going to have a lot of success. And I know Harding might not be comparable to a lot of offenses that they're going to take on later in the year, but if the defense can give them a chance and the offense remains mistake-free, they can really go a long way.
Kenny, I'm really honestly impressed by that. Coming to that game, we were talking on the All Care Stadium show last night how talented Harding was, and Ethan, you said that maybe not as much respect as a Glenville that Maslin played, but Coach Richardson has a good team. Like that's not a
Right.
pushover. To beat them 33-0 last year was a 43-25 game. How about that in 1 year? 25 points given up versus 1 for 10 on 3rd down. That's and that's who Renzi is, guys. That's who he is. He's a defense first guy.
Ethan, when you look at the 2 games that you did, what player stood out the most in the 2 games that you did Thursday and Friday night?
Probably Bo Sheets from Fairless. That he is a huge offensive lineman in there, and he just stands apart from everybody else. That we talk a lot about offensive weapons, but there's no weapon like that when you can run behind him and open up space on one side. Just the pure size of him. A whole helmet taller than a lot of the other players that were out there. So yeah, so offensive linemen get dirty in the trenches. Love to see that.
Nice.
Well, Ethan, we thank you for joining us and thank you for stopping in, and glad you've got a week one under your belt when it comes to patrolling the sidelines. Kenny, I got to admit, the kid gets some good camera angles, man. The kid gets
We talked.
Yeah,
We were
I had some better luck Thursday than I did Friday, trying to get in position to interview Coach Parnell last night, and there's that crazy touchdown on the other end of the field, but we're going to keep trying to get lucky in the right spots.
Yeah, we were texting before, the games and that, John, because I know he can do the job and everything, but just some tips throughout the year, and he's going to do a fabulous job. And that one that came right at us too. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And when Ritterbeck, threaded the needle right towards the post on that pass, great view there, and you just keep at it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And be ready to do more next week because you're sitting in for yours truly next week here on the Huddle. So make sure you and John are all ready to rock and roll next Saturday morning. All right.
All right, will do. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Ethan. So did you take him through 2 days, Ken? Is that what you did? Did you get him?
It was more like 10 minutes, and we were texting back and forth. And I just told him what to look out for, the angles, because he here's the great thing about Ethan, and we'll get to our next guest. He wants to learn, what can I do? How can I get better? And I love that. We're glad to have him back with us now. And so you'll be hearing more of him on the radio and with us here on the Saturday Morning Huddle, and along with all the video.
I thought I went by the sports office at one point, heard you yelling at him saying high knees, but I guess maybe
that was JT.
All right. Hey, speaking of a fun night for folks last night, man, there was not a more fun night than what took place in the PTO last night. And of course, the Perry Panthers join us now, Coach Spencer Lino. And Coach, I know you've got a guest with us who had a tremendous evening last night, but Coach, congrats on the win last night over Canton Central Catholic, and tell us who you have with us here.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having us on. I have senior number 24, running back, defensive back, athlete, Jonathan Lemon.
That's how you know, Kenny. That's how you know a guy is good.
Yeah.
When they say running back and defensive back is good, but when they're an athlete, and Coach, let's start there. He is an athlete, isn't he? Like, he is a good player wherever you put him.
Yeah, John is an explosive football player. We use him for a lot of things. You saw him on special teams as well. And that says a lot about a young man who, today's day and age with kids playing both ways and then not taking plays off. You know what I mean? I think it says a lot about him. Just to be a factor in all three phases of the game, that's something I think any coach wants.
Coach, year number 2 for you. How was this off season? How was these scrimmage? These multiple scrimmages you had. How were they different? How was this different in game number 1 for you?
Yeah, I think just having a whole year with the kids. And that's just the nature of the beast when you take over a new position. It's always gonna be hopefully mid off season. And those kids did a great job last year. I love that senior class we had last year. But we knew, going into year 2, we had to really have a good off season. And I've talked about it several times, and I stand by it. The games we won or lost in the off season in the weight room. And we knew we had to have a really good strength conditioning winter and spring and even preseason months. And then, the preseason, June and July, obviously by nature, it's going to be a little more smoother, right? We did change things, drastically, I guess you could say, schematically here. And the kids picked up a lot quicker this year than, obviously last year with everything being new. And then, we had two solid scrimmages against St. Ignatius. We just played Avon Thursday, and then Youngstown Unified, which was a very athletic program with the combination of Cheney and East, Youngstown East. So, we felt that got us ready for the season.
Jonathan, last night for you, one of the more impressive efforts I've seen. Take me through your night and what allowed you to have the success that you did.
On the offense side of the ball, we knew we had to come out fast, be physical up front. That's what we did. My line gave me a lot of big holes to run through, and I had to finish the run for my brothers.
Let's take it through some of these highlights here. Thanks to at the PHS News and Keith Brown and the folks. But Coach, take us through some of these plays.
Yeah, that's the first drive. I think that's capping off the first drive there. Like John said, offensively, you have to start fast. And then, you add this into the game. Central had a nice little drive on us. Coach Trucker is a good coach. We knew that. And nothing like having an explosive play, not only on offense, but as you see here, on special teams. And that's Lemon, obviously. He shot out of a cannon there.
Oh man, little skip to my Lou right there and just flew by everybody. Jonathan, take me through that, and we'll see these other plays. But I need to know about that kickoff return, man, because that's a thing of beauty. When the ball's coming down, take us through it step by step.
So at first, I got the ball. I pressed the left side, and I knew something slightly would open up on the right. All I made is one cut, and then took it to the house.
That was a heck of a play, man. John, you got to call that too. That's always fun as an announcer to call that.
It was. And it's funny, Jonathan, we were talking on the broadcast, and Coach Garcia, who's on our broadcast this year, formerly from Glen Oak, he said, the first time that Estrada kicked it, he said, man, they did the smart thing. He was like, they didn't give 24 a chance to have the ball. You get a chance then to have the ball. You had to be licking your chops, weren't you?
Yeah.
What's in your mindset as that ball is coming towards you?
I knew I had to get a kick return.
And Coach, how impactful is that where all of a sudden Central thinks, hey, this is a ball game. Berkwin with the touchdown pass. It's 7-7. They're feeling good, at your place. And boom, Jonathan does that and flips the script, and it was Katie bar the door after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge spark, right? And if you look at data, we were talking as a staff this morning, special big plays on special teams, no matter what game you're in, can change the outcome. I mean, you're looking at, we were talking this morning, when you house a kickoff return, I mean, your chances of winning go up drastically, 80% or more.
Wow.
Same thing if you block a punt. So that's been a big emphasis this year. Is not that we didn't take special teams serious last year, but we really put an emphasis on them this year.
Coach, I do want to talk about that too. The momentum you guys were able to build, and by the end, I know that rushing the ball is something that you guys do with a lot of strength with John Lemon and also with Avery Blake in the backfield. But giving Connor Boudry and Cameron Treharn a chance then to make some throws later in the game, how important is that for the growth of this team, Coach?
Extremely important. Obviously we want to run the ball. Any high school coach, college coach is going to tell you that. But we have to be multiple in what we do. We can't be one-dimensional. When those opportunities are there, we have to take advantage of them in the passing game. Have to. And Treharn had a great game. I'm sure you saw he played a little bit of defense as well, and that gave the youngster Boudre who came in and did a really nice job as well. So I was proud of the way both of those guys played last night.
Well, and Kenny, I got a follow up here. I want to ask about Connor Boudry because Scott Garcia was speaking so highly of him. Coach, he's a sophomore. This kid has a gun on him, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean he's had a really good preseason, and him and Treharn have a really good relationship. Sky's the limit for him. I think if he just continues to keep progressing each week, that's really what you want, especially at the quarterback position. With us changing some things offensively, it's going to take some time to continue to develop those guys.
And for people watching that last play, John, yes, that was Perry throwing the football in the end zone for a touchdown. And they're both laughing because we're not used to seeing that, from when Zach was there and, of course, Coach Wakefield. So, Jonathan, how much fun is that for you? You're going to tote the rock quite a bit, but when they're stacking the box, right, that you guys can throw the football, that takes a lot of pressure off you and the O-line, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well,
Yeah.
and Jonathan, take me through being the because I'm guessing you're the younger brother of Josh, correct? Josh
Yes.
was your older. Yeah. So, I mean, Josh played in that Keith Wakefield offense. You grew up watching him play in that. What's it like to play in a system that allows you guys to throw the ball and that you can catch swing passes out of? What's that like?
It's a great tool. You don't always have to run the ball on certain situations. We like to open up the pass game. Keep passing the ball as we open up the box, and there you can run the ball from there.
Well, and Kenny, we've got to get to this too.
Yep.
We've got to let the people know. We have our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week, and I texted Spencer last night and I said, "Hey, do you have a picture of Josh?" And he said, "Yeah, of course I have a picture of Josh." And here it is, Josh. This stat line: 15 attempts, 165 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Oh yeah, and not just that, you also were in a situation where you caught one pass for 8 yards. Jonathan, you are our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week. What do you think?
Thank you. Thank you.
And John, I'm guessing he was your Old Carolina Barbecue Player of the Game last night as well.
He was. It wasn't a hard choice.
I got something from Q92 Sports or something like that.
You got awards all over the place. You're getting honors for anytime you return a kickoff, you rush for $160, you score 3 times, 4 times, whatever it was in the game. You're going to win a lot of awards for a performance like that. So congratulations on your performance, Jonathan. Coach, congratulations on a week 1 win in season number 2 for you. We wish you guys nothing but the best moving forward, and I'm sure we'll see both of you maybe here on the Huddle again in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for what you guys do. Appreciate you having us on.
Thank you.
You got it. Big win there for Perry as they get the W and the Learn More, Live Better, Grow Together Community One Credit Union Player of the Week for us here on the Saturday morning Huddle. Jonathan Lemon putting up some stats that any player would love to have. That kickoff return was special. Hey, John, I can tell you this. That game there changed on a kickoff return, and the game I did last night, Northwest, they were dominant on special teams last night, and it helped them win a game. So we always talk about offense and defense. Don't forget about special teams.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we get lost in the discussion of just wanting to talk about how, look at the flashy pass, look at the flashy play that was made on the defensive side of the ball. But man, when you have a great special teams and you're able to play all 3 phases, it makes a world of a difference. And speaking of your game, and speaking of the Northwest Indians winning last night, he told us he would be at the JV game, and it looks like Coach DeMarco is joining us now. Coach, where are you traipsing at right now? Where are you at over there?
We're behind Alliance High School here watching a JV game that is not going in our favor as of right now.
Well, those kids are young, and they'll grow from that. The one that went in your favor is the one that counts, and that was last night. We did it as our WHBC YouTube game of the week. 16-0 win by Northwest over Alliance. Coach, you and I talked pre, halftime, and post-game. You've had time to, take it all in. Give me your thoughts on what went down yesterday in week 1 for you guys.
Well, we got to watch the films today, and obviously we got a lot of things to clean up, but we had a lot of young kids on the field, and they played hard, and that's the most important thing. They played hard, not necessarily well at times, but we got a chance to improve on that, and it's always nice to not play at your best and get a win, and it's always nice to get that first win. I believe this is my seventh year at Northwest, and this is the first time we won our opener at home. So that's kind of exciting in itself.
Coach, when it comes to this group, you've got a couple of really good linebackers, both Jacob Garber and Connor Stevenson, who kind of plays in the defensive end. Tell us about their leadership.
Well, they're coming off very good years last year, and we knew they're going to be good football players for us. But we really needed them to step up for leadership, and they've done a great job through our weight program all winter long, and then obviously through our summer and two-a-days. And they've just done a tremendous job supplying leadership to the whole team. And you always hear coaches talk about leadership, but when you're as young as we are, we started 4 sophomores on offense and 3 or 4 on defense also. So we really lean on a couple of seniors we have heavily, and Jacob Garber, who's here with me right now, and Connor Stevenson definitely lean on them quite a bit last night.
And we'll take a look at the big play right here. This was the one that got you guys on the scoreboard first, turned the game around. Connor Stevenson getting a paw on it, knocking it down, backwards pass, ball, touchdown. Coach, I was right beside your guys, your coaches. Not only did you guys make the play on the field, but everybody on the sideline was into that as well. You've got to love the way that play came to fruition, I guess, for you guys.
Yes, it really was. And a couple of our coaches were down close to the line of scrimmage at the snap, and they saw it right away and did a great job of alerting our guys. Our guys did a great job of getting on the ball and then celebrating as a team in the end zone, just to sell the point. But watching it on tape, I think it was definitely the right call.
Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, that was a score at halftime, 7-0. So, we talk about all the plays in football, but it usually comes down to anywhere 5, 6, 7 plays that make a difference in a game, and that play was huge.
Jacob, we saw that there, a touchdown run by you. You bounced off of a couple guys, then you had a nice long run there, about 25 yards, it seemed like. Your running style, I don't know if you know who this is, but you remind me of Larry Zonka, Jacob, more of a power back type. Tell me about your running style, Jacob.
I just try and put my head down and get as many yards as I can. My coaches don't like it when I try and dance around too much, because then I just get caught up in the backfield.
I love it. Straight ahead. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? And so why not go the easiest way, right, Jacob?
Yes, sir.
Jacob, what do you enjoy more, offense or defense?
I'd probably have to say defense, just because I played more of that throughout my high school career.
Coach, for you, I know that obviously you've always been an offensive guy and you've passed the ball over the years, but you have to love a guy who wants to get downhill and just run through guys, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Jacob and Connor are both like that on both sides of the ball. And, it'd be kind of foolish not to lean on those two guys, and especially early in the season, until we can develop a little bit more of an identity. So we did that last night, and obviously we're going to do that moving forward.
Jacob last night, 15 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Also making tackles on defense all over the place. What was the key to pitching a shutout yesterday for your defense?
Just getting together with the guys, watching a lot of film, prepping all week. I mean, we saw what they were going to run based off their film from the scrimmages, and I felt like we were really prepared for it.
And Sanders isn't a small dude. That's a thick quarterback that was over there for Alliance. What were those collisions like? And you guys seem to really wear him down and the entire team down.
Yeah, it honestly felt more like tackling a running back than a quarterback. Orville has a guy that's around the same size as him. Last year we had to hit him too. I mean, it felt the exact same to me.
Jacob, for you guys this year, I know that expectations in the Canal Fulton community are always high, but I feel like you guys don't really have like a guy this year that's like a huge standout. You're kind of more of a team by committee. Tell me what it's like to play on a team like that.
I mean, it's great. You don't have one name that's flying around that everyone's just loving on. Everyone's just relying on the whole team and giving everyone, like, each other credit.
All right, I've got to ask you this, Jacob. Yesterday, I think it was the first play of the fourth quarter. Alliance comes out, right? And they catch you guys napping a little bit with the double pass. But how about the effort of Ty Lipkins to chase down the receiver at the 5-yard line, keep him from scoring, and then you guys come up with a goal line stand?
Yeah. Hustle plays always lead to big things.
Coach, how much do you like to hear that? Hustle plays always lead to big things. That sounds like something you've said to him. Have you said that to him before?
Yes, yeah, and our defense really hammers that point home and do a great job there. And I heard you talking about the team there, and we definitely are a team all working together in there. But we're definitely led by those two guys, Jacob and Connor. They're a cut above, and we expect them to perform at that level and provide the leadership, and they've done that all the way through so far, and we're hoping that will continue.
Coach, you and I talked before the game about special teams being a crucial part of this week 1 matchup against Alliance. I know you missed an extra point, but for the most part, you had to be thrilled with your punting, your kicking, your coverage, all of that on special teams leading to great field position.
We definitely were. You're reading off Jacob's stats there. One of his tackles was a forced fumble when he got a good hit on a guy, just knocked the ball loose, yarded loose. He also averaged over 37 yards on 5 punts last night. That kept them in decent field position. And I thought one of the keys to the game was the opening kickoff to the second half, where they fumbled it around a little bit and were able to corner them down there and pin them down inside the 10-yard line. And I think that kind of set the tone for the second half. And it definitely set up one of our scores right after that.
Coach DeMarco, Jacob Garber, both you guys, we thank you both so much for joining us this morning on the Saturday Morning Huddle. Kenny?
Yeah, I got one last thing. I want you to thank your athletic director, Jason Hathaway, because I was the last person out of the stadium last night. I helped him turn out the lights, basically, at Smilik because I had to do some work for Rock Entertainment Sports Network. So pass along my thanks to Jason, and we always appreciate the hospitality at Northwest, Coach.
Well, we always appreciate seeing you, and Jason does a great job for the whole sports program, the whole community there in Northwest, and we're always grateful for what he does. And I know he always tries to treat you guys well because we love to see it when you guys come.
One more thing. I had to, and I found a note here. Jacob, what did you think of the new field turf? Brand new field turf put in there at Smilik Stadium. This was game number 1. What did you think of that?
I loved it. It felt great to play on. It was a little bit different, but I like it better.
Coach, what do you think? I know Jason, and I were talking about it. He loves the way it looks. How do you like it?
Well, it looks nice. I don't particularly care for it because I get a ton of pellets in my shoes. And I will add, my wife doesn't really care for it either because it does not matter how many times I empty my shoes. I still can't get them all out when I get home. And, she's not pleased with the new turf. But our guys like it, and that's what counts. And, we're 1-0 on the turf, so we'll take that. That's for sure.
Coach, are those your new shoes that Dan DeGeorge didn't give you?
Yes, they are.
He broke in a new pair on the new turf. We love it. Picking them up and putting them down at Smilik Stadium at Northwest. A big win, 16-0 over Alliance. Guys, thanks for getting up with us on the Saturday Morning Huddle. Congrats on the win. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. We always appreciate the coverage that you guys have for all of football in Stark County, but especially when you make it up to the Northwest section of Stark County. Greatly appreciate it.
We love
you guys
going
do a
there.
great job. Just continue
Thank
doing
you.
what you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Hey, I always love hearing from Coach DeMarco. He's an old school guy, and
get off my lawn. He's complaining about the pellets. They just spent I don't know how much money putting in new turf, and he's worried about. Now I know what he's talking about because I have to empty mine out as well. But dude, it was two-tone. It was the end zones were painted nice and there was a drone there the whole game shooting down. I want to see that video. Look at that, the two-tone, the dark green and the brighter green. There's the first touchdown by Stevenson on the backward lateral. That's a sweet look at, dude. I love the setting of that Smilik Stadium with the woods and the trees and everything last night. It's a fun place to call a game, man.
I heard you talking about it with JT before the stadium show and how much you enjoyed it. And it really is just a really cool spot to do a game. And you know what's even crazier out there is when it starts to get like a little bit cold and you get that fog to rise up from behind the one side of the stadium. I want one year for Northwest to come out of those cornfields and fog that are over there just to scare the opponent that they're playing against. But man, love always going over there, and we always love hearing from Coach DeMarco, and we wish him and the Indians good luck this year.
Here's what I was more impressed with, more so than the game last night. He figured out how to join us on his phone from a remote location in Alliance. That was as impressive as his team's performance last night. Nice job, Coach DeMarco.
I know he gets credit for that. Those are extra Huddle points. We're going to keep Huddle points by the end of the year, and he gets them to go towards like tackle points. They're like tackle points.
There we go.
Them, and they show how efficient you are. You're tackling. All right. You know, there are a lot of cool things in the world that people enjoy. And one of them that we oftentimes have the pleasure of seeing in Stark County is when a hometown guy gets to go back to his school and get a win there and become the head coach. And that is the case for our next guest, and that's Jake Atkins and the Louisville Leopards, as Coach Atkins once donned that lovely sky blue color, that powder blue, if you will, and now he's donning it as the head man on the sideline. And Coach, congratulations.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Thanks for having us this morning.
Week 1, a win for Louisville. First off, who do you have with us? And then after you introduce him, tell us what it was like to probably complete what's been a dream for you in life, which is winning a game as the head coach of the Louisville Leopards.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm joined this morning by offensive line, defensive lineman for us, Aiden Norris. But no, last night it was just a great night. From the community support, the turnout was awesome. It was a great atmosphere. Our kids played extremely well. It was a true team win. And I couldn't be more proud of all of our coaches and just the effort that our kids gave last night playing a full 4 quarters of football.
Some nerves, some jitters, Coach, before your first game there back at your alma mater?
Yeah, for sure. I think probably more nervous as a coach than I was as a player. But similar to as a player, you get the first couple plays going and you try to settle in. So it was just a great atmosphere and a great night.
So this kid that you have with us here, Aiden Norris. Aiden, you're 6'8" and 320 pounds. I don't think the starting left guard for the Cleveland Browns is that big. Aiden, what's in the Norris household water that allowed you to grow to 6'8" and 320 pounds?
Oh, geez. I don't even know. My whole family's pretty big, so yeah, I don't know.
Coach, you're happy.
6'6"?
Yeah, my dad's like 6'6", and my grandpa's like 6'8", so.
Yeah, Coach, you're happy with that DNA in the family, right? You'll take that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we need more. But no, so thankful for guys like Aiden, great leader for our team. He played on both sides of the ball last night. We asked a lot of him, and not only is he a leader on the field, but everything he does off the field. So Aiden's done a great job for us.
Yeah, Aiden, I want to actually talk about that. The line play for Louisville this year. That is, a lot of times skill is the strength, but your guys' line play is your strength because you have all of your guys back. Tell me about the growth that you guys have had over the years and what's allowed you to become a more cohesive unit.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice how we're all returning this year, and just like the jump we had from last year to this year was like the work that we all put in over this offseason is just like next level. We all have been grinding since day one. I mean, and you saw like last night, the work is paying off, and there's still a lot more we got to improve on, but it's going pretty well.
And John, we've got some highlights here, so why don't you talk through this with the coach and Aiden?
Yeah, take us through some of these plays here, courtesy of Louisville Leps and Leopard Nation, Jared and the folks there. Coach, take us through some of these plays.
Yeah, that first play there, that was just Xavier Berdella, junior safety for us. Played really, really well last night. That was a big play in the game. Kind of just jumped the seam route, helped us kind of seal the victory there. And then obviously you can see the runs from Lucas Neff. He's been a great surprise. really hard-nosed kid, works extremely hard, had a great offseason, and deserves everything he's getting right now. But obviously our offensive line play is what made that happen. Guys like Aiden, Owen Gottschall stepped up big last night, junior center that was filling in for Trevor Burek. I thought across the board our offensive line played well and played well through the fourth quarter, which was big for us.
Coach, what changed? It's a low-scoring game at halftime, I think 3-0. What changed in the second half?
Yeah, I think our kids just played one play at a time. It was back and forth. New Philly's a great team. They're always well coached. They do the right things. Coach Johnson has his team prepared every year. And we knew it was going to be back and forth. We knew it was going to be a fourth-quarter game. And, I think our kids just believed in each other. Like I said, they played one play at a time and trusted that they were going to make the next play. And I think just that belief and that togetherness that we have right now that we're hoping to build on really paid off.
Yeah, Aiden, for you, 2 years ago, I think it was a 2-8 season. Last year, 6-5, might have been a little bit better, maybe 4-6 the year before that. I can't remember, but you guys have incrementally gotten better every year. You're a senior this year. What are the expectations for you that you would like to see this team accomplish?
I just say I love for our team, to go 10-0. I don't see how we wouldn't do it. I think every team on our schedule is beatable. I just feel like if we keep playing hard-nosed football and the O-line keeps getting after it and our defense keeps doing what we're doing, then I think that we're gonna have a pretty special season.
All right, so give us a little idea of the difference between Coach Kappas, who's now at Mount Union running their defense, and this guy sitting next to you, Coach Atkins. What are their coaching styles?
Oh, they're both great. I mean, I feel like that there's a lot of
Are they similar in what they do?
It's very similar. The defenses are pretty similar. And it just getting us fired up before the game, especially they were both great at that. So, yeah.
And how much did you guys want to get that win for him at his alma mater in his first game? How important was that to the team?
That was very, very important. I mean, obviously, home opener too. So, first game of the season, my senior year. That was the most important game to me that I've played so far. And I feel that's probably the same for most of the other seniors and a lot of the other guys on the team. But yeah, it means a lot to all of us.
Coach, I heard Aiden say something, and I feel like you've got to love it. He said, I don't see why we couldn't go 10-0. That level of confidence, what does that mean to you as a head coach?
It means a lot. From the time I took over in February, that was one of the things that was evident to me. This group is just very committed. And part of that is to the work that Coach Kappas has done. But these kids love each other. They're committed to the process. They're a tight-knit group. And I think ultimately that's the secret to success is team unity. And guys like Aiden and other seniors are really doing that, leading by example. And those younger guys are starting to buy in, those young guys, those sophomores, right, that aren't on the field as much, they're starting to figure out, how you're supposed to practice, how you're supposed to handle yourself. And I think that makes a big difference when the whole team is closer in that realm.
Kenny, I have a quick follow-up to that because I want to ask you, Coach, being a Louisville guy, how important is it? Is it almost more important to you for the team to have success? I mean, you understand how important football is to that community because it helps shape you. Just speak to that, how important and the level of importance it means to Louisville football being good to you.
Yeah, Louisville football has been so good to me as a player. I'm just humbled and gratified to be in the position I am. I had so many great teachers and coaches growing up. And I think that's just part of the good tradition that we've had here. And then, when you get in a role, like I am, I just want to continue that and try to make it better. I seen it firsthand as a player and as a coach now, just giving back to the kids and teaching them everything that football has to offer. That's been a staple of our tradition and our program. And people love football here. So ultimately you want to make the community proud and put your best product on the field. So just super proud of our kids right now, how they played together last night.
How about this, Coach? My college roommate. Okay, I went to Baldwin Wallace in the
Coach
mid
Farah.
'80s. Paul Farah. Yep, that was my college roommate for a year. And so you're following in the footsteps of Coach Farah, Coach DeMarco, Coach Kappas, and now you.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of great guys that have come before me, and I recognize that, and I haven't accomplished anything yet, but just being a part of the tradition and the groundwork that the guys that came before you, you have an appreciation for that of what's been done here. And ultimately you want to continue that and make it better and always thinking about the kids first. So really appreciate the coaches I've learned from as a player that I got to coach under. I know Coach DeMarco was just on before me. I love that man dearly. He's done a lot for me as a player and a coach. And just a great role model all around. So very blessed to be around the guys I've been able to be around and learn from. And I don't want to, leave without saying I have a great staff. One guy I want to mention is Dan Westlake. Was able to bring him back this year. He actually was a senior on our state championship run team, and Danny's been in charge of our defense and doing a lot. So having another hometown guy back on our staff that understands it, like I said, played in a state championship game, having guys like that understand the culture and what we're trying to accomplish is huge. So hats off to my staff, all the way down to every single player.
And one more thing there, John, let me just say this. Coach, you have the highest winning percentage of any Louisville coach. You are 1,000% winning percentage. So congratulations. You're at the top of the list.
Hey, I think Coach AJ Sarball said it best. It just means we're not going to go 0-10.
Aiden, I want to ask you one last thing, and then obviously we're going to wrap up here with the huddle and let you guys get on with your day. But he just spoke about that tradition and carrying that on, and the importance of trying to pass that torch. For you being a senior, what do you do to uphold that torch and make sure that it is still held high and that the Louisville standard is the Louisville standard?
Yeah, I mean, I'm big on the tradition. I mean, my grandpa played here, my dad played here, and everything, and so it's like my whole family's like always been Louisville. Like I remember growing up, always coming to the games when I was a little kid, like looking up to all those guys. And now I'm like the senior, so like I'm where those guys were at, and it's just awesome. Like all the people that like look up to me, and I just try and take pride. I take pride in everything I do because people are watching, everybody's watching. So try and keep the standard going and carry the tradition as long as possible and pass it down to like the younger guys too, because obviously I'm a senior, it's my last year, so got to keep the team rolling. So
yeah, and how about a $184 on the ground for Lucas Neff last night, Coach? The offensive line. Here's when we talk about the offensive line. Illegal procedure, offsides, or holding, right? Unfortunately, those are all bad things. Well, we have to give them some love when you get a kid that runs for almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Like I said earlier, Lucas played both sides of the ball last night. He was like our bell cow last night, and he seemed to get better as the game went on. It was just really impressive. And again, hats off to the offensive line, providing that for him. I thought he saw the defense really well against a good defense in New Philly.
John, I love that room. That the paint, the seats, the black room with the blue. That is a football room right there, man. That's where I want to go watch film and I want to hang out if I'm looking for a room. So I don't know who did that, Coach, but 2 thumbs up on that.
Yeah. Really great room. A lot of it was from Coach Kappas and just what we've tried to improve year after year. And we've kind of added some touches to it this year. But the kids love this room. We're very thankful and blessed to have a facility like this that our school district can provide. Our kids love it. It's where we watch a lot of film, have our team meetings and stuff. So you just got to worry about kids falling asleep. These chairs are a little comfy. So.
Well, and Aiden, did they have to get a special size chair for you?
No, it's fine. I put the armrest up,
It's like on an airplane. You throw the armrest up and you take up 2 seats. That's what happens when you're 6'8" and whatever. So, hey guys, go ahead, John.
No, I was gonna say Aiden is forever the guy that when he's going down the steps and the thing is too high ahead of him, everyone is always saying, Aiden, watch your head, watch your head, watch your head.
Duck.
Yep.
Hey guys, congrats on the big win, Coach. Your first win, hopefully first of many for you. We appreciate you guys getting up on the huddle, and we'll see you later on this year. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for having us. Again, we're lucky to be playing football in Stark County, and the coverage you guys provide. It's amazing what you do for our communities, our schools, and our kids. So thank you to both of you, and we're appreciative of being on here today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You got it,
We
guys.
appreciate you.
Yeah, very much so. Good win, man. First game, 20-10. Louisville over New Philadelphia. As we said, Lucas Neff, 25 carries, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. Owen Wilson didn't play last night, so Neff steps in, has a big game. Parker Dahm with 2 field goals. Hey, special teams matter, man. So if you have good special teams in a close game, that a lot of the times that makes the difference.
Well, and keep in mind, folks, next week, our stadium show as part of the stream game will be at Louisville. So we'll be in Leopard Nation next week as Youngstown Ursuline goes to Louisville. So we'll get to see firsthand what the Leopards are like. You know, Kenny, the thing I love about that team and why, to me, they are the team that is going to fly under the radar all year is that they are led by their offensive and defensive line. Yep. And as you said, we only talk about lines when it's a case of, oh, well, holding occurred on the left guard, or this guy jumped off sides, or this guy with a false start. But when you have a line at the high school level that is as big as theirs is, and you have a quarterback who manages the game in Cody Zaylor, and you have a good defense, the sky is truly the limit for that team. The only downfall for them is that they are in Division II, which is top to bottom, the toughest division in football, considering everybody that's going to be there. And Glenville, by the end of the year, may be added to Division II. So, you know, just to be in that meat grinder, you wish them the best of luck, and you hope that they can accomplish the year that they have, because the talent is there for that Louisville team.
No doubt about it. And John, I want you to give some love to our newest sponsor to the Saturday Morning Huddle. We talked about the ones that have returned year after year, but we also want to welcome our newest sponsor.
Yeah, Pella Windows and Doors. We can't do it without them, and we can't be here without them. One of our key sponsors this year. We have obviously all of the ones that are part of the huddle, but Pella Windows and Doors, Matt and the guys there. And again, Pella Windows and Doors, Northeast Ohio homeowners rated Pella Windows and Doors #1 for highest quality. They obviously are a brand that has been around for a long time, and you'll see their ads throughout the year on the YouTube game. You'll hear them on the radio. You'll hear them on the stream. And we, of course, thank Matt and the folks at Pella Windows and Doors for being one of our key sponsors for the Saturday Morning Huddle this year.
Yeah, and all 5 of them, thank you, thank you, thank you. Marianne Donuts, Pella Windows and Doors, Community One Credit Union, Old Carolina Barbecue, and Akron Auto Auction. We appreciate all of them. They think enough of this show where they want to be a part of it, right, John? And, you know, we've tried to grow this show, and we have a lot of fun with it, and we know how important Stark County High School football is. So a little bonus coverage on a Saturday morning for all the kids, the coaches, the families, that put their time, blood, sweat, and tears into this. We want to, you know, give a shout out and cover as many teams and kids as we possibly can here on the Huddle each week.
Well, and we are truly lucky to have a county like Stark County that, you know, no matter where you go, there's a tradition. No matter what team you see play, there's something unique about them. And I know next week we've got great matches on all of our platforms as well, and we're excited for week 2 to already be here. I can't believe that we're already saying, hey, week 1 in the books. You know, clean up your wounds, look at your film, get ready for week 2, and just, you know, be ready to go. You've you know, once you get past week 1, there's the pageantry, there's the tradition, there's the masters. But then, you know, week 2, you get to that point to where, you know, then the rubber hits the road. You know, the fun is gone at that point. You know, it's now you're in the season, start making plays, or you know, or you go the other way. And for some of these teams, they had a week 1 that they will remember. And for some of them, they've got to regroup quickly and figure out who they are between week 1 and 2. But we always hear it. And I know next week, Kenny, I want to do a counter next week. I want to ask and see if we can do a counter. And I want to put a graphic up of how many times coaches say, Well, the biggest improvement is week 1 to week 2. We're going to keep track of it for
All
next
right.
week. How many times coaches say that?
All right, John, you have some highlights you can throw up. I'm going to run through the scores and some individual statistics. So just throw up some highlights that we had from all of our games, and you'll be able to watch that while we give some love to all of our teams. McKinley, a 33-0 winner over Warren Harding yesterday. They held Harding to under 60 yards. Braylon Crook makes his debut, throws for a touchdown pass and 164 yards for McKinley. Massillon takes down Glenville in the huge game in the state of Ohio yesterday, 31-18. Xavier Owens, 26 carries, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's headed to Michigan State. Deontay Malone, 5 catches, 149 yards, a touchdown. He's headed to Ohio State. So 2 big games from them. Perry, a dominant win Thursday night over Central, 42-7. And congratulations once again to our Community One Credit Union Player of the Week, Jonathan Lemon, 165 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, a 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. In the Battle of 13th Street, it goes to Perry. Hoover, a winner over Bookville, 35-8. Nolan Bonner, the quarterback for Hoover, with 3 touchdown runs. Michael Lamelin with 22 carries for 128 yards. A big night for him. And Joey Redinger with 2 field goals for the Vikings as they win for Brian Baum in the season opener. Dan DeGeorge's Lake Blue Streaks, 20-14, a victory over North Ridgeville, who was 10-2 last year. A good opening win. Ty DeGeorge, 27 carries, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Quarterback Wyatt Jones, 6 of 10 for 102 yards and a touchdown pass. He also ran for 76 yards. Matt Dennison in his debut at Glen Oak, unfortunately, comes up on the short end. They lose 36-21 to Dover. Indian Valley beat Green 42-13. Louisville, we just heard from Coach Atkins, 20-10 over New Philly. They get a big win in his debut. Northwest and Coach DeMarco start the season off right, shutting out Alliance 16-0. Minerva falls to United 42-7 in their season opener. Marlington with an impressive win over Warrensville Heights, 31-6 for head coach Joe Cardinal. Cam Evanich, 10 carries, 70 yards. Tyler Klein with a touchdown run. Jacob Rose with a touchdown run, and that win for Marlington. Canton South and Bedry Barterville's debut there fall to Garaway, 20-6. Smithville 21-14 over Tuslaw. Chippewa beat East Canton 23-6. It was Strasburg 43, St. Thomas 14. And then Thursday night, we had the 2 big wins for 2 Stark County teams. Fairless beat Sandy Valley 44-6, and Jackson took down Chardon 34-13. That's it for week 1 of the Saturday morning huddle, John Bozeka.
One last thing to get to that we have to mention. Last night, Scott Garcia, he sent us the photo. You look on the screen right now, folks. Bottom right of your screen, if you're looking at home, that photo, that is Hall of Famer from the former Washington Redskins, Darrell Green. He addressed last night part of his Hall of Fame residency. He addressed both Canton Central Catholic and the Perry Panthers, and he also spoke with Jackson yesterday. And Coach Garcia told us that he is a great speaker, and it was a cool experience for those kids to get the chance to hear from a Hall of Famer. And I know, Kenny, you guys do so much with the residency program, having guys in on the Kenny and JT show, and you love when those guys get to come in and have an effect on our young kids in Stark County.
Oh, without question. And shout out to Jim Porter and Rich DeRozier and Jeff Shreve and everybody over there at the Hall of Fame. This residency program was a fabulous idea. The community gets to be more involved with them than just seeing them once a year. We're honored to have them visit the Kenny and JT show, either in studio or on site there at the Hall or wherever, and talk with them. So, yeah, it's great to have those gold jackets back for more than just Hall of Fame weekend.
Well, that'll do it for us. Kenny, great job this morning. Thanks to all of our crews last night for all of their hard work. And
Brian Novak, shout out to him for getting us all the scores. He does it for us on Friday night. So thanks to Brian for making sure we have all the scores from the games. And Ethan Jenkins will be joining you next week. I'll hit in from a remote point, but it'll be you and Ethan handling week number 2. And we're off and running, man.
Week 1 in the books. Week 2 coming up next week. That'll do it for us. For Kenny, I'm John Bozeka. This has been the Saturday Morning Huddle. Have a great Saturday, everyone.